History was made at the Red House, not just with the visit of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but with the signing of 6 memoranda of understanding, including one that could reshape how Trinidad and Tobago responds to natural disasters. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadijah Ameen hailed the MOUs as a critical step in the nation's fight against flooding and climate-related disasters.
And certainly, while the focus would have been on the MOUs to be signed today over the last couple of days, certainly in terms of our talks in the upcoming weeks and so on, I expect that Trinidad and Tobago could gain from learning technology from India. And one of the things that they have in one of the MOUs is an early warning system for flooding and disaster that they have shared with Trinidad and Tobago.
While her ministry was not one of those that directly signed an MOU with the government of India, Minister Ameen said the opportunities and collaboration goes across ministries.
So, for instance, even though an MOU was not signed by me, there is one that involves early warning systems that falls under Homeland because it's ODPM. But I am very excited about it. Local government people are excited. In the rural areas, for instance, Agro Processing, where you have agricultural areas and you really don't want crops staying on farmers' hands, Agro Processing is very important. And so in rural development, and although it falls under agriculture, rural development is excited about the Agro Processing plant.
Minister Ameen said the agreement is also part of a broader vision for long-term development and resilience, welcoming the talks about a Caribbean-based forensic science center in Trinidad and Tobago.
And to me, that will benefit Trinidad and Tobago in the long run, because they are not only talking about bringing laptops, for instance, giving 2,000 laptops as they are, but they are talking about investments, things that will contribute to the well-being of agriculture. When they speak about having the CARICOM Forensic Science Center located of all places in the Caribbean, here in Trinidad, you know, it speaks volumes in terms of long-term development and better life for Trinidad and Tobago.
And with the rainy season already in progress, the minister said her ministry is also looking at technology to prevent flooding.
So there are technologies available, and we also have to look at the cost factor of those technologies and how we incorporate the local economy into it in terms of creating local jobs, using local manufacturers and so on.
Minister Ameen was speaking to TTT News following the joint session of Parliament on Friday. Sonolala, TTT News.